Order. Eugenie Sage.
Tēnā koe, Mr Speaker. Thank you. Mr Speaker, here in Aotearoa, New Zealand, we've got the know-how, we've got the resources to reduce climate pollution, to clean up our rivers and lakes, to stop intensive farming making them any dirtier. We can protect our wild places and the threatened species that we love. But that's not what we will get in National's budget tomorrow. We've got climate change, the greatest issue facing humanity, yet in the last 7 budgets, the Minister of Finance hasn't mentioned it once, and I doubt that it will be any different tomorrow. And that's because National takes nature for granted. It fails to recognise that a healthy environment is the basis of life itself, is the basis of our economy here in Aotearoa, and it's a key part of our identity for so many New Zealanders. National's agenda, which we'll see in the budget, is one of extractivism. It's handing out millions of dollars to irrigators, subsidising the deep-sea oil drillers, but just giving crumbs to conservation. We've got laws like the RMA, which is supposed to protect the environment while allowing use and development. Yet here, National is gutting the RMA, throttling public participation, overriding councils with the new ministerial powers to make it easier for high-impact development. And National's also failing to protect the environment by failing to enforce our laws. And we've seen that just last week with the release of the Simmons report, which showed massive dumping and misreporting and wastage of fish in the commercial fishing industry. It showed that by 2013, New Zealand commercial fishing boats were dumping around 20% of their catch on average, and foreign flag vessels around 50% of their catch. What did the Minister of Primary Industries say? He said he was very, very sceptical of the Simmons report, and that is despite 3 top-flight universities being involved in that report, over 300 interviews with stakeholders, industry experts, official information contributing to that. So we had the Minister saying he was in denial. That means he must have been mightily embarrassed when Operation Achilles and Operation Hippocamp and the reports of those 2 investigations were released to the media, because they showed that between 20 and 100% of the catches in the inshore trawl and set net fisheries were being dumped overboard. And the reports talked about substantial quantities of quota fish being discarded in those boats operating out of Timaru and Oamaru, in excess of 30% of elephant fish and all of the small gurnard. Mr Speaker, fisheries are a precious resource. We've got a $1.7 billion industry. To safeguard that, to safeguard our oceans and their health, the law needs to be enforced. The MPI had clear evidence of substantial dumping. It should have rung alarm bells. Yet what happened? It was just dismissed. Now, certainly the Minister has announced an inquiry, but he has got, and the Ministry have got, very deep questions to answer. What is the point of speeding up the rollout of video cameras on fishing vessels when there was video evidence in both the Operation Achilles and Hippocamp, which would have allowed those fishers who were dumping substantial quantities of fish to be prosecuted? No prosecutions were done. What is the point of having observers if the information they see is not used to enforce the law? So what we've got is either MPI shutting its eye to illegal activity or being too close to the fishing industry and just not wanting to enforce the law. The Green Party, if it was in government tomorrow with an opportunity to have the budget, would make sure there was more research into how our marine system functions so that we have thriving oceans. We'd ensure there was deep-sea marine protection, not like this government, preventing that happening through its changes to the marine protection legislation. And we'd ensure that we were enforcing the law so that we have a thriving fisheries, not one where MPI ignores illegal dumping.
The time for this debate has expired.